to share with you. I had a chat with my rabbi. Let me see. I asked him about the word you all were asking about. And it's very funny because I help in fourth grade on Wednesdays. And these are my babies from several years ago. And so they're working on Hebrew packets, and one of the packets is the Shva. So they're asking me about the Shva. And I'm like, now I can help you with the Shva. Now I know. So anyway, see if I can blow this up a little bit.
Go to the little, yeah, you got it. Okay.
Okay, so I asked my rabbi last Friday night, why is this Ish Techa when there's two Shvas in a row? Why isn't it? So he said, because of the dot inside of the Tav, we give the second Shva the sound as well. So it's Ish Techa. So has something to do with the dot. And he said, don't worry about why the dot is there. It has something to do with the language change over time. So last week we finished off Ashrei and Avinu Shabbat Shamayim. And this week we're going to start the Musaf Amidah. We're going to focus on the part we read aloud. So I did a little research on Musaf Amidah. It is the word Amidah is additional or supplementary. It actually corresponds with the additional sacrifice offered in the ancient temple in those days. According to the Talmud in Barachot 26b, the daily Jewish prayer services parallel the daily offerings in the ancient temple. Since the additional sacrifice was offered in the temple on Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh, and then Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and the three pilgrimage festivals, and Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, we recite the Musaf on those days. So we don't do the sacrifices anymore, but we still do this prayer. Like all versions of the Amidah, Musaf begins and ends with the same three blessings, but the middle section changes depending on the occasion. The most common Musaf is the one we recite on Shabbat. After we do opening blessings of praise, the central section of the Musaf begins with the prayer for return to the Holy Land and restoration of the temple service. It then describes additional sacrifices offered on Shabbat, 2-year-old unblemished lambs alongside flour mixed with oil. The final part is a prayer attesting to the joyous nature of Shabbat and asking God to find favor in our rest. On days when it is recited, Musaf is typically the last major component of the service, said immediately after reading the public reading of the Torah and before the concluding hymns. In many congregations, it's customary to recite the Musaf Amidah twice, once privately and then once again by the cantor or prayer leader. How many of you use Lev Shalem in your shul? So there is an separate reading of the silent parts of the Amidah that don't involve the sacrifices, which is the one I tend to read, because I am not one of those people who looks forward to one day bringing back the temple and sacrifice. That is not on my wish list, but I recognize it is for some people. So I apologize if my computer acts weird today, not like it acts weird many days, but I kept having problems with my sound like all of a sudden people would be talking, but no sound would come out. So my husband changed it to see if it's better, but sometimes now my computer freezes. So
every day with Zoom is a new day.
Yeah, well, then I told him now I'm having trouble with, I can't control the volume. So it's always something. So let me get to the next page here. So hopefully this looks familiar to many of you. We're going to read it. We're not going to sing it because as we know, we get more, we realize when we actually read and don't sing that we might be singing things incorrectly. So would someone like, and Since you are just joining us, Jody, people volunteer to take turns to read. So I think since this is a little, it's not as long of the lines as Ashray, maybe if someone would be willing to maybe read the first 4 lines, and we'll just take volunteers for 4 lines. Robin, did you want to start us off?
Sure.
Thanks.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu Elohei Abraham
Oh, wait, let's make sure
Do I
we
have to
include
read
these word
that?
in brackets. Yes.
Ve'imotenu.
Yep, that's us girls.
Oh,
Okay, Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov.
Hold on, let's go back 2 words. It does have Elohei, but it has a letter added.
Oh, ve'Elohei.
Great job. Thank you. Would someone like to pick up?
I'll do it.
Thanks. Was that Helene?
Yeah.
Who said? Okay.
Helene, the Tzivia Helene. There's a Hannah Helene and a Tzivia Helene. I'm the Tzivia Helene. So we're at Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ma'el Hagadol Hagibor Bahanoa. More, or am I done?
One more.
El Elyon Gomel Hasadim.
Nice job. Would someone like to pick up the last 4 lines?
The trick is going to services.
Yes, that's true. Terry, did you want to read? Was that your hand?
Yes,
Oh, it's me.
Thank you.
Okay.
Tovim V'ko Nay
Mhm.
Hako Budo Hair
Good.
Has Day
Mhm.
Avot. Do I read the one in parentheses or no?
Yes, because that's us girls.
Re'i Matt Hote
Ve'imachot.
Ivmahot
There you go.
May V go L the Benay
Check out the vowel under Lamed.
under Lamed.
Yep.
There
One
isn't-
dot.
There isn't one under Lamed. Oh, that's the Lamed that ends the second word. There isn't one.
No,
But
on
the
the
other
third
one.
word, at the beginning of the 3rd word.
Right. Leave
There you go.
nay. The nay ham the an shemo hava.
Excellent. Let's see what we just read in English. Would someone like to read the English for us? Don't worry, this won't count as your Hebrew part.
I'll read it.
Thanks, Helene.
Hi, good to see y'all.
Glad to have you back.
Baruch atah Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and God of Jacob, great, mighty, awe-inspiring, transcendent God. Oh, I wonder why they didn't put the girls in the English.
I'm thinking I didn't grab the right one.
I'm
Okay.
thinking
right.
so too.
Okay.
I'm going to go back and fix it.
transcendent God who acts with kindness and love and creates all, who remembers the loving deeds of our ancestors and who will lovingly bring a redeemer to their children's children for the sake of divine honor.
Thank you. Yes, so I realized this was a problem, I think, last semester, and I didn't go back and change it, that I copied from the wrong side of the book. So I will fix that, because us Imahot, our mothers, we don't want to leave them out. Any idea why in the Amidah we constantly bring up the names of our ancestors? Just curious about your thoughts. There's not a right or wrong answer.
Our religion is very tied to remembrance. So I think every opportunity that they want to remind us of our heritage, they throw it in, whether it's telling us to teach it to our children. So, you know, keeping those names alive is a very, I think it's just intrinsic to our faith, to the practice of our faith.
Thank you, Helene. Robin?
I think also, I guess the patriarchs and the matriarchs had a relationship with God during their time. So that makes them special as well, I think, a personal relationship.
Thank you. Any other ideas? I was just curious to what you thought. We stress this with kids, that, you know, this connection to the people that came before us. It just helps connect us through time.
Yeah, even in the Mishaberach, we do the Mishaberach, is a connection, you know, ones who came before us. And how many times during services do you see the phrase L'dor v'dor? It's a connection from generation to generation. It's constantly, as Helene said, it's the remembrance and the connection throughout the ages is constantly stressed.
Something I love about Judaism. Well, let's go and see what the next part is about. Oh, my mouse is acting up. There we go. All right. Would somebody like to continue the next four? How about Lori Silverblatt?
Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Start on Melech,
Yes, ma'am.
Melech Ozer, Ufokade, Umo Shiach, Umagain, Baruch atah Adonai, Magain, Avraham, Ufokade, Sarah.
Beautiful. So this next one is not 8. We put the whole thing together, it's 10. So if someone would like to do the next 5 lines, and somebody else will do the last 5 lines of the page.
I'll do it if you.
Thanks, Gail. You want to do the next 5?
Sure. So it's Michal Bel Chaim.
Hold on, let's look at that second to last letter.
Wait. Michal in the first word.
Yes. I may have heard you wrong.
I said Michal Bel.
So
I'm
check
sorry.
out that.
You're right. Michal Hale.
Good job.
Yeah, sorry. You gave it
That's
a B
okay.
All right. Chaim. Here's the B. Bechesed. Mechaye. Meitim. Birachamim. Rabim. Somech. Nof, Lim, Virofe, Cholim, Umatir. I don't know what that is at the end there. Kayem.
Hold on a second. Let's go to that last word on after Umatir.
Is there
The
another,
last-
I don't, do I have another, I'm looking at my page here. Do I?
There's a
let's
word
see.
after umatir.
Oh, I don't have it here, cut off.
Oh, no.
My page, yeah, no wonder.
Put
Yeah,
your
I
mouse on
have-
the screen and move it over.
Yeah, it's cut off. Okay, let me read it on here. Asurim.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's cut off. That's weird. I'm
That's weird.
sorry. Okay. Kayem Emonato. Li Shene. Afar. Was that
Good.
5? Okay. Does anyone else have it cut off? Is it just me?
Yeah, no,
Yes.
it's cut off.
Sorry
Yes.
about that.
You have to slide the screen over a little bit. If you
Oh,
put
okay.
your mouse on the screen and shift it
No.
over, you get to see the whole thing. No? 'Cause I
No,
Are you
have-
not
Helene,
seeing
it's
it on
cut
the
off on the
screen?
actual page. It's
Oh,
cut
yeah.
off
Cut
on the
off,
actual paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cut
I
off on the
printed it
paper.
Cut
also.
off on the actual page. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, because I printed it also and I don't have that.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm writing it in as we speak.
Was I done or another line?
If you want another
Asurim.
line, it's yours.
Okay.
Oh,
so
wait, we
where
had
was I?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we'll stop there and let someone else pick up the
Okay.
last 4.
All right.
Nice job, Gail. Who would like to have the last 4 for
Where
this
are we
page?
starting?
Susan Hall, we're starting with me.
Me Kamoka. Ba'al.
Careful, that first letter after me.
Me Kamoka.
So there's no dot in it. If it had a dot, it would be ka, because it would have a cough drop for coughing, but the cough drop's gone. So now it has a scratchy voice. Ha.
Me Kamoka. Ba'al. Gevurot. Me domelak. Melik Mimit Haya. Umat Mia Yeshua. Vene'emar Ata.
Hold on, let's go back. Look at the ending of that.
Oh, Vene'eman.
There you go.
La Harot Metim.
Hold on. Take one more look at that Lamed word.
Chaot Metim. Baruch Ata Adonai. Me Chaya. Ha Metim.
Good. That's a hard word. The word second to last line, lechayot. It's hard because you've got 2 letters that look very much alike.
They
One
do.
has the ha and one has the ha.
Yeah.
Not easy stuff. And it's interesting because when I was working with the 4th graders, one of the kids' assignment was to circle all of the coughs and put a square around all the bets, really showing the difference between the bet and the cough. So it's something we
Yeah.
do struggle with.
Debbie, would
Good
you
job.
say the word again, please?
The second to last line, 3rd word,
Lahachayot.
lehachayot metim.
aha,
Tricky
fine.
word.
Okay.
Would someone like to read this in English for us?
I'll be your English person.
All right, Helene.
You'll find me Hebrew somewhere. You are the sovereign who helps and guards, saves and shields. Baruch atah Adonai, shield of Abraham and guardian of Sarah. Guardian. Okay. Where's guardian? Avoraham. Is that guardian?
I think it's ufokade.
Ufokade. Okay, guardian of Sarah. You are ever mighty, Adonai. You give life to the dead. Great is your saving power. You cause the wind to blow and the rain to fall. You cause the dew to fall. You sustain the living through kindness and love, and with great mercy give life to the dead. You support the falling, heal the sick, loosen the chains of the bond, and those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, Almighty, and who can be compared to you? The sovereign who brings death and life and causes redemption to flourish. Who is like you, source of compassion, who remembers with compassion your creatures for you are faithful in bringing life to the dead. Baruch atah Adonai, who gives life to the dead. Oh, the dead in this.
That's heavy stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sandy?
Yeah, I just have a question on a couple of words. I mean, I'm not
Sure.
criticizing anybody and I'm just, I mean, it's these kinds of things that I'm trying to pick up. But on the fourth line in the middle, is it umakayim or is it umkayim? I mean,
It's because you already, I'm assuming it's because you have, the first letter is a vowel, kayem. But I could be, again, I wasn't raised with all the schwa rules.
okay.
Kayem. Are there other words in question? I'm not correcting all the kaf and chafs because I know some people, it's very hard to do the sound as an adult. And so sometimes people have difficulty doing it. And if it change, and I don't know when it always changes the meeting, but I don't get on people all the time about it because there's a lot of them.
Yeah,
And I know
have
people-
trouble. Yeah, I have trouble with the one that we were talking about earlier with the ch, in pronouncing that, and I also have trouble with between the H and the kes. So
The chet and the
yeah,
hey.
yeah. So
And I know there are
I
kids who,
understand that.
there are kids who
have
go up
one
for their
other-
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I have one. I mean, I know that when you go down to mi kamoka, that's the way it's always pronounced. But you know, if I didn't know that word, again, that's my question: is if it's if it's really convoca. I mean, that's the way. If that was an unfamiliar word to me, that's the way I guess I would sound it out. But I mean,
My
I know
mouse
it's
is-
always pronounced kamoka.
So my mouse isn't working. Are you talking about from the bottom of the screen? 1, 2, 3, fourth line up?
Yes.
That is me, cha, mo, cha.
Okay.
Cha, mo, cha.
All right.
Now, sometimes it's me, kamocha.
Right.
So when you sing Miriam's song, it's me, kamocha, be'elim Adonai, me, kamocha, nedar bakodesh. And it's very cute. I once heard someone teach on it. The first line, mi kamocha, is when I forget the name of the man who went into the Red Sea. He was walking into the sea and his mouth was filling up with water. And he, the first time spit mi kamocha, but as he went further, he started to choke and it became mi chamocha because now the water was stuck in his throat. So that's how I remember it.
Debbie,
I think his name was,
go ahead. I'm sorry, finish.
no, I can't remember his name. I'll have to look it up.
Anyway, I think one of the issues you said at the beginning is the difference between singing and reading. Sometimes you sing along, sometimes cantors put extra syllables in there to keep up with the music. And you know, you'll be singing along and you'll hear mi kamocha and you say it over and over again because that's what you're hearing ahead when it's mi chamocha. And I think when you read it, you pronounce it correctly, so we're saying it correctly. I think the one you were talking about, umakayem, I think when they sing it, they put it's u, which is a prefix, and I think the shva and the mem is pronounced when they're singing it. So umakayem. I'm pretty sure I hear that on my
And I
head.
don't think anybody will correct you in shul.
No, except the rabbi, but no one else will correct me.
And I don't have to worry about our rabbis, but we have a former ritual director who is our former ritual director who still belongs to the congregation. And he will occasionally point out to me because he wants me to look good in the eyes of the congregation. But most people are sitting in the congregation, not even looking in their book, singing along. So,
Right.
but I appreciate all of your attention to details because it is so important, especially when you're learning. And I wish I had more rules. I'm going to skip to I realize I'm going to go back and fix it. In the English, we have the two different sentences that we add depending on the time of year, but it is not in Hebrew. Mashiv haruach umorid hagashem. who caused the wind to blow and rain to fall, or morid hatal, which is not in the Hebrew. So I have to go back and find that one. I'm not sure where I grabbed this one from. So let's see if it will let me go on. It will. So now it gets a little more on a page. So I think what we'll do is ask for volunteers to take what looks like Hebrew paragraphs, if that's okay, as opposed to counting lines. So Hebrew gets a little more challenging here, but I know you can do it. Is there somebody that would like to start who hasn't had a chance to read yet?
And the print is getting tinier.
Let me, I don't know if I can do anything about, let me see if I can. My mouse
try
has. Hold on a
Try
minute.
the first paragraph when you're ready.
All right, hold on a second. Have I stopped sharing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can
And-
get this bigger. I'm not going to share this. I'm not going to make this. I'm not going to hit play. What I'm going to do is try it this way. Because this way I can make it a little bit bigger for you. How's that?
Oh, much better.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll volunteer then.
Thanks,
I can,
Linda.
I can read now. Okay. Na'aritzcha v'nak discha ki kasod. Is that right?
Yes,
Kasod.
yes.
Sicha.
Actually, it's siach.
Yes.
It goes
siach.
completely against what we think. Oh, there's a chet with an ah. It's cha, but it's siach.
Siach. Sarfe Kodesh. Hamak. Mach. Dishim. Shimcha ba Kodesh. Kakatuv al Yad Nevi Echa. V'kara ze el ze v'amar. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Adonai Tzivaot. Melo kol haaretz kivodo.
Good job. We're going to look at a couple of these tricky words. So the last line, malo, it's actually whole haaretz.
Kol haaretz. Yes.
Now let's go back up to those first two words, because I know those shvas are sitting in your brain going, what is it actually? When you sing it, na'aritzecha. So they do pronounce it. It is na'aritzecha because there's no vowels around it. So it does get the little emphasis. What did I tell the kids the other day? I said, think of it as an extra syllable. Instead of na'aritzecha, it is na'aritzecha. Doesn't have much of a sound, but it basically puts in an extra syllable.
Okay.
Venak dish techa. Sorry, venak dish shecha. Here we have venak, so we don't say nake because it's two vowels together. Venak di shecha. Susan?
Yes, na'aritzaka. How do we know that that's the syllable after the shva? I forget the name of the letter right now.
A final chaf.
It like there's a final cough and it's got an sound syllable there. Does that relate back to is it the Saudi or the ayin?
It's its own letter. It's final cough. So it's na'aritze, sorry, it's final chaf, na'aritze cha, because there's no dot in there. If there was a dot, it would.
Okay.
Huh?
Where does is it Saudi or the ayin get its vowel sound?
From the shva, but it's not really much of a sound. You're actually just adding an extra syllable, na'aritzecha.
Okay.
It doesn't really, doesn't get much. It's more just to think of it as an extra syllable, na'aritzecha, as opposed to na'aritzcha.
Yeah, okay.
Sandy, are you looking confused or?
No, I thought I heard Susan ask if it was the Sadiq or the ayin. It's the Sadiq.
It's at Sadi.
Okay, thank you.
Those two letters, I tell you, they don't get as much attention because we don't use them as often. Are there any questions about, I'm sorry, Susan?
They seem to be everywhere.
What you're reading. Any questions about any other words?
Well, I just have a question. So if you said Benach Dishcha, that would be wrong because it's Dishacha.
Venak dishcha. It's technically Venak dishecha, but when you're
Yeah.
singing Na'aritzecha Venak dishecha. So yes, because it's by itself, it does give the extra syllable. Venak dishecha.
I have a hint about the tzadi,
Go for it.
and that's when I try to learn Hebrew online 3 years ago. But this I remember is I always look at that as a zipper. I think about a zipper, and that's what I always think about the ts as opposed to a silent.
Oh, I
It's a
love
zipper.
that.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna have to
Just
change that
just
one.
like the ooh is you punch in the stomach and you go ooh, and when you hit on the head you go oh. So that's when you know the ooh and the oh.
Thank you. I'm going to use that with my kids because it's really hard to explain the difference between ayin and sadi. I try to talk about how sadi is sitting straight on the ground. It's confusing. Never mind. I don't want to confuse it more. Any other questions about the first paragraph? All
Just
right.
I have a comment about the schwa.
Yes.
The schwa is an international phonetic symbol and sound that it's in every language where you have you can't make a sound without a breath coming out. So when I was teaching very, very, very basic Hebrew to students with needs, I always felt it was better to just throw in the extra than leave it out. The leaving out part, somebody will tell you eventually, but sticking it in is safe. It doesn't change the definition of the word. So it's a real thing in all languages, this schwa thing. So,
But if you have two shvas next to each other, you don't pronounce the first one.
Correct.
well, what I'm saying is that it doesn't really matter if you do. It won't change the meaning of the word. You know,
Okay.
somebody who's a more literate Hebrew learner, reader, native might tell you something, but it's in our country. I used to teach my kids about the words M-A-R-Y, M-E-R-R-Y, and M-A-R-R-Y. And if you're in the South, they're all Mary, 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 but they're Mary, Mary, and Mary. So the same is true for Hebrew speakers. You're going to hear the vowels slightly different. Have you ever heard anybody daven from the South? It's very interesting. Baruch Atawa Adonai. I mean, it's so don't get too hung up on shvas.
I think schwa was somewhere out there in phonics class with a diphthong. Those things that's not how I learned. So I put up with phonics class, but I didn't learn any of it. I just learned how to read. It
Well,
seems to be a
I
pattern.
I was a speech and theater major in college, and one of our classes had the International Phonetic Alphabet. And it was right around the My Fair Lady time. So I love the sounds. I can't remember a blessed thing, but I love the sounds of language. So
Well, thanks for helping us. I appreciate it.
That
Who knows?
does clear up some of the confusion, I guess, because everyone uses it differently. But just because I'm like totally detail oriented, generally speaking, two next to each other, the second one, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Just
If
like
there's
it,
another real one nearby,
I have a Hebrew grammar book that's about that thick that when I get stuck, I refer to that to see what the rule is.
Wasn't it two go walking, the second one does the
Right,
talking? Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, well, that's in Hebrew, but in English,
In
it's the
English, it's the
opposite.
opposite.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't
When
mix your
two
English
vowel-
with
when
your
two
Hebrew.
vowels go
Right.
Oh,
walking.
you
yeah.
raised me.
All right, let's move on to the second paragraph. Sandy, is your hand up to read?
Yeah, I can. I just, the Shalom Aleichem book that I referred to talks about it where when the two schwas are together, that you pronounce it when it's the beginning of a syllable and you don't pronounce it when it's the end of the syllable. But it's hard when you don't know the word
end of the
to
syllable.
know,
Where's the
whether
syllable?
you pronounce it or not. So that was kind of the rule that I was going by, but as he said, when there's a couple of prayers where you go into it, they all start with ooh, and then it goes, and then you have the schwa, and then you go to the rest of the word. And as I said, I'm trying to learn to fine tune some of this, but I guess it just is what it is sometimes. But
Well, I will double check on the Na'aritzecha and Manakdishacha, because it may be that we only pronounce it because we're singing it. And I will find out about tomorrow on the Bima, or when I get a chance to talk to the rabbi about those. And he, by the way, is thrilled when he sees me coming. It's like, "Oh, more grammar." I'm like, yes, more grammar. So, all right. Did you want to read?
yeah, I
Sandy?
can try it. I will say that the fourth word, I was practicing this, a little while before class, and I have read this at a sisterhood Shabbat several years ago, but when we start doing this, everybody joins in because we're singing, and I was going through, and it's like, I noticed the fourth word, and I said, no, that's not how we pronounce it. I realized we kind of slur over that and end up with, going into Shoalim, and I realized, oh, I haven't been pronouncing that correctly all this time, but
Well,
here
go
goes.
ahead and shine and read it
Yeah.
for us.
Okay. Kavodo Male Olam Mishor Tov Shoalim Zeh Lazeh Aye Mekom Kavodo Leumatom Baruch Yomeru Baruch Kavod Adonai Mim Komo.
Nice job. I didn't hear anything wrong with the way you pronounce that fourth word.
As he said, when we sing it, it's, I don't sing, but, we sing it, we kind of, because we repeat those lines, we sing the beginning, and then we come back and we pick up the beginning, and then at another point we start at Mishor Tov Shoalim, whatever. And I just, when I was kind of singing a little bit by rote, and I realized, and I looked at it again, I realized, that's not what I thought we were saying, but, once again, when you sing it, people often slur over it. You don't
Yeah.
necessarily learn it right.
Well, you did a nice job.
Thanks.
I saw that Andrea had her hand up. Andrea, did you want to read next?
Sure. Meme code. I'm sorry. Let's start over. Meme co me who
Well, let's look at the end of that mem word. Lots of mems in there.
meme co mo.
There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry for that.
That's okay.
Who e them berachamin v'yachon ham yachadim shemo erev vavi care.
So there is a vowel over the vet.
Oh,
Kind of looks connected, but it's there.
yeah, I'm sorry. So va though care.
Good.
Bikol yom Tamid Pa'amayim Be'ahava Shema Reem Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Nice job.
That was an easy last line. That's nice.
Hey, sometimes you get a bonus.
Yeah, thank you.
Hannah, did you have your hand up to read in Hebrew?
I did. Now I'm not so sure, but I'll give it a shot.
You can do it.
You get the chuz from me. I'm a good chucha.
Okay.
It's allergies and sinus trouble. Hu Eloheinu, so there probably won't be any. Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Mosheinu. Oh, okay. Vehu Yashmienu, Berachamim, Berachamav.
Yeah.
Shenit Le'ene Kal Hai.
So actually that's Kol High. We talked
I'm
about that
sorry.
last week.
Right. The larger tiny T.
Yes.
Kol Hai. Lehayot Lachem Le'Elohim. Should I? Yeah. Ani
Yep.
Adonai Elohechem.
Nice job. There, you got your
Elohechem.
ch in there.
Elohechem. Yeah.
Good job. Any questions about that? Lori?
My question is the second line, third word. Why is it sometimes pronounced at the end of that word? Sometimes it's pronounced like it sounds like love, rhymes with love, mav versus
Mahava.
mav. I've heard it both ways, and I just wanted to know which one.
I believe it's Berachamav.
So you've never heard it pronounced love with that combination of letters?
Love?
Yes.
Yeah,
That
Berachamav.
rhymes with love. Like
I've never heard Barachamav. I've heard Barachamav.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it could be the accent that someone is using. So.
Okay.
No, but I haven't, but that doesn't mean that they haven't
Right.
pronounced it that way.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks. Any other questions? All right, who would like to do the next two together?
I will.
Thanks, Gail.
Uv div ray. Leaving out the shva there. I don't know. Kad shaka. Now putting it in.
Yep, good job.
Okay. Katuv. Sorry,
There you go.
Katuv. Lamor. Yim loch. Adonai. Leolam. Elohayich. That was hard to say for some reason.
You got it.
Yeah. Zion. I'm sorry, Sion.
Actually, it's Sion. So the Sadi gets a sound and the Yud gets a sound.
Okay, Sion.
There you go.
Lidor, hallelujah.
Nice job. Any questions about that part or comments? All right. Somebody who hasn't had a turn, would you like to read the last paragraph? The artist, thank you.
Okay. Vador, Gadid, Gadal,
Hold on,
Galecha,
let's go back to that third word.
Nagid,
There you go.
Nagid, Gadlecha, Ul Ne At Yats.
Put the Sadi first.
Oh, Ul Olne za
Ulnetza.
za nazechem
Hold on,
kadush.
let's look at the vowels under there again.
Which where are you pointing?
Oh, third to last word.
Okay, nitzachim.
There you go.
Okay, kadush tacha nakadish. Kadish.
So it's
Kadush.
knock
Kadish.
dish.
Kadishish.
Knock. So it's like knock 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 dish.
Nakdish. Okay.
Yep.
Vasimcha ha.
Hold on. It's a shin. Try that again.
Okay. Vashiv hacha
Yeah.
Eloheinu mepenu lo yamush leolam vaed. Okay, more?
If you want.
No, I think I'll let someone else have a
All
turn.
right. It's a lot. It's a lot, especially if you're not used to reading it, you're used to singing it. Nice job, artists. Is there anybody who would like to take the last two lines? I don't know if everybody's had a chance to read. Not everyone has. Let's see if there's anybody. Charlene.
Charlene, you need to unmute yourself.
I couldn't see if she was reading or not. Okay.
I'm sorry. Thank you. I was doing so well. He El Melech Gadol Kadish.
Check out that the vowel in that word, veka.
The Kadosh.
There you go.
Thank you. Aha, Ataha,
Just ata.
Ata, Baruch, Ata, Adonai, Ha'el, HaKodesh,
Haka.
Dosh.
There you go. Wow. It seems like pretty straightforward stuff, but it can be tricky. Now I'm waiting for my mouse to cooperate. Let's see what, there are any questions about the Hebrew? I'm going to bring it down a little bit and we'll read it, see what we said in English.
By the way, if you grew up with Yiddish spoken in your house, then you know how to do the cha.
That's true.
As in chaza.
That's true.
Hold on, get this back to where it was. All right. Is that big enough for everybody? Would someone else like to read the English?
I'll do it.
All right, Robin.
We revere and sanctify you on earth as your name is sanctified in heaven. As your prophet Isaiah described, each cried out to the other, holy, holy, holy is Adonai, Tzvaot. The whole world is filled with God's glory. God's glory fills the universe. One angelic chorus asks, where is the place of God's glory? Another responds, praised is Adonai's glory wherever God dwells. From where God dwells, may God turn with compassion toward the people who twice each day, evening and morning, lovingly proclaim God's oneness, reciting the Shema. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. The Holy One is our God, our Creator, our Sovereign, our Redeemer. Yet again, God will in mercy proclaim to us before all that lives, I, Adonai, am your God. As the psalmist sang, Adonai will reign forever, your God. O Zion, from generation to generation, hallelujah. From generation to generation, we will declare your greatness and forever sanctify you with words of holiness. Your praise will never leave our lips, for you are God and sovereign, great and holy. Baruch atah Adonai, the holy God.
Thank you, Robin. sometimes I wish we could pray all of this in English. I think I'd get a lot more out of it if we were singing it in English and I was conscious of what I was singing while I was singing it, as opposed to after the fact. But Shabbat is a lot of praising God. It's a lot of praising God. Hannah, did you have a comment?
Yeah, and no offense to anybody, but again, this is my background in phonetics. When I hear Adonai, all I can think of my sinuses needing treatment. Your adenoids. So if you just take that one vowel, the ah vowel, you can hear it in a million different ways. So I don't get too hung up on whether somebody's saying it, with an ah or an ah or a and I feel like those of us doing this we should be so commended to be doing this at this point in our lives. I know I'm so handicapped in this, it's probably an unpolitical word. I struggle with learning languages, and these little things about trying to pronounce everything exactly the way you think it should be, when Israel's a tiny country, but believe me, from north to south, the variations of pronunciation are still there. And as we've mentioned, the singing with the adding syllables were necessary because they don't fit in the music. They don't. So the Chazan has to put in some extra sound to fill the void. And that's why we have, like I used to sing Parsley, Sage, and Rosemary and Thyme. Adon Elohim Hashem Olach, Haterem Kol V'Tzer Nivro. It fits everything because you can just make it flow. So my praise to all of you. That's basically the bottom line. And don't get too hung up so that it stops you from learning.
Well, my Israeli family, half my family Israeli, Sabras, multi-generational Sabras, well, they will correct me, but they say you could always tell a New Yorker because they're annoyed. It's always Adonai. You could always tell a New Yorker always says Adonai.
But it's interesting. I have a friend from Cleveland who always says Adonai.
They must have had, their parents must have been from New York.
I don't think so, but it's so interesting.
I think it's Ashkenazi.
Yeah.
I think it's Eastern Europe and who moved to New York. Because
I know is that everybody I know always said
Shabbos.
Always said Adonai.
And it was Baruch Atah Adonai with a oi at the end.
Well, Hannah, I second your comments, but I also commend everybody who wants to get it right. Because if you're going to learn it, you want to learn it the correct way. But try and I won't. And where is she? Terry can attest to she was in my last two classes, and so many of our members of our class were hung up on all the extra dots. It's like, don't worry about the extra dots, ignore the extra dots, just keep reading. But they wanted to know what the dots were all about. So I appreciate that you want to know correctly. You don't want to learn it incorrectly, but again, no one is going to be correcting you, maybe unless you read Torah, which I hope you all get to. But are there any questions or last comments? Helene, I'll let you make your announcement in a minute. Next week, we're going to start with Sim Shalom, and we'll try to get to Ein Keloheinu as well. And before Helene makes her announcement, I just want to say that I was on a Women's League Board of Directors meeting and did not know that several of you are on the Board of Directors. So it was nice to see that our class, Lori is, Ardis. Did I miss anyone? No, though you two. So it was nice to see, people in our classes, but also are helping to run Women's League, which is, Sandy, are you on the Board of Directors? No, okay. But it's nice to see.
I'm on the region board, but not on the board. Not on the
That's right. Board. So, it's nice to see that our women are not just, that are getting involved in so many different ways. So, all right, so we do have class next Friday. The following Friday, I'm out doing wedding stuff. I have to schlep to the hotel. But Helene, why don't you take it away, Helene?
Yes, so inspired by Sandy Carlson, What I have my own personal pro account. I do Zooming all the time. So not next Friday, it's a Friday after, when Debbie is busy with wedding, and mazel tov to Debbie on that.
Thank
Always
you.
a wonderful thing. That was simcha. While she's doing her simcha, we will be practicing, and I will be sending all of you a Zoom link. It'll be my link for that Friday, which is the 5th, to come and practice. We'll probably do things we've done already. We'll struggle through the Amidah again, or other things, whatever you like, and we can practice together. That's Friday, the 5th at 1:30, and I'll be sending out the announcement on Sunday. And you'll also get a reminder for the next Friday as well. So
Thank
it'll
you,
be coming
Helene,
from me. It'll be coming from Helene.tbtst.sisterhood. That's my Hebrew school sign, and inviting you to a Zoom practice class that is on Friday the 5th.
Thank you so much for doing that. Sorry, I can't be with you. And I
pleasure.
also, I'm sorry.
The more I practice, that's why I'm going to services Friday night and Saturday live now to practice. So I
That's
don't know.
wonderful. And I just want to extend another, we welcomed Jody at the beginning, but I want to extend a welcome to Jody, who's joining our class. We've had some people come, we've had some people go. So all in all, I think this is working well. Are you guys all okay with the way it's been going, that we take turns reading? Okay. I just felt like if I put you in breakout rooms, then I can't hear each of you. And I feel like this way we pick up from each other, because if you've got a question, chances are at least one other person has the same question you have. So I will get back with my rabbi about na'aritzecha v'nakdishtecha and get the exact answer.
Oh, Debbie, I have one quick question that we
Sure.
talked about, and that was on the prayer for the state of Israel.
Yes.
Because I looked it up very many places, and I think that the li is a prefix, and sometimes if you have a prefix and followed by a consonant that has a shva underneath it, the shva is pronounced. So is it li shlom or li shalom?
I asked my rabbi about it, and he really was not, he looked at it, he goes, yeah, it's Lishla. I don't know. He didn't tell me how to pronounce it, but he said,
I've never seen it before. And I went all over the internet to try and get the pronunciation. I couldn't get it.
and he
Nobody
said
had the
it is
thing.
correct, Lishalom, but he didn't say how to pronounce it. I'll ask him this
Yeah,
time
is
for
it-
the
yeah, is it
pronunciation.
Leash, loam.
I'm thinking it's
loam.
Lishalom would, given what it is, it's a prayer. It has to do with shalom, prayer,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
peace. That I would guess it would be Li Shalom as opposed to Li Shalom, because it would, but I'll double check that one. He'll be so happy. So
It could be lishalom, not li, but lishalom.
No, it is. It's a lamed with the, I forgot what it's called. Sure, underneath it.
Dot.
I looked it all over. It's not a typo. It's the lamed with the li, the word. It's a
Yeah.
prefix, li. I think means four.
well, yes.
And then it's followed with the shin and the shva underneath it, and a lamed and an o and a mem.
Shalom.
Yes.
Actually,
Thank you, Robin.
Doesn't the word li mean my in Hebrew? So it might be my something?
It's my
Because
peace.
I know the word, I think the word, like the name Leor means my light, something like that.
It's interesting that it's
It's a
I'll have to-
prefix.
I'll have to
that's all.
ask
It is a
him.
Well,
prefix.
is a prefix usually meaning like two?
Too.
So like.
well, we'll find out the answer.
Okay.
And my rabbi also pointed out that, a lot of times Israelis don't pronounce things, they pronounce it their own way. Everybody does it their own way. So if someone corrects you, you can thank them. And you can also just recognize that this is how you're pronouncing it the way you best know how. So I look forward to seeing you all again next week. I hope you have a restful Shabbat. I'm in Cincinnati, and The temperature has dropped 10 degrees from yesterday and it's feeling fall-ish. Maybe more fall than fall-ish. So I guess it is almost, it's mid-October. I guess it's time.
Definitely.